New explanation Zigzag Crochet series, intermediate section explains how to increase or decrease the number of stitches, how to close the fabric, and how to change the thread. First, it's about how to increase the number of stitches. The zigzag crochet stitch means that the head of the single crochet is in a standing state by twisting the crochet hook. So when you look from above, you can see only one of the loops, but in fact, the other loop is hidden under it. When you increase the number of stitches with zigzag crochet, you increase the number of stitches by picking up this hidden thread. Let's increase stitches from the state shown in the figure. Normally, you turn the needle to the other side to make one stitch, and turn it to the front side to make one stitch. From these 2 stitches, add 2 to create 4 stitches. First, turn the hook to the other side and crochet 1 stitch. Next, turn the hook to the front, crochet through the thread hidden under it. Next, turn the hook to the other side and crochet through the thread that is hidden. Finally, turn the hook to the front and crochet through the thread you can see above. When you increase the number of stitches by zigzag crochet like this, you increase the number of consecutive 2 stitches to 4 stitches. Crochet through the hidden thread at the second and third of the 4 stitches. It is difficult to pick up the hidden thread directly, so the trick is to put a hook through the upper thread once and then push out the lower thread. Next, I will explain how to decrease the number of stitches. If you want to decrease the stitches, you should decrease 4 continuous stitches to 2. Insert the hook so that it goes through the sharp mountain when you see it from above. In other words, it is made by inserting hook into 2 stitches together. Once again, put the hook into 2 stitches and crochet them together. This is okay. Next, I will explain how to close a circular or long and narrow fabric by squeezing or grafting together. The first method is to close the circular hole. Use the yarn needle to pass the thread through the zigzag mountain. Once you make a full circle, pull the thread and ring it up. Once you pass the thread around once again and weave into the back side of the fabric, it's done. Next, it is a way to join long and narrow holes in a straight line. There are 3 ways in total. One way is to use a yarn needle and the other 2 ways are to stitch together. First of all, a way to use a yarn needle. Divide the knitted fabric into 2 parts, one on the far side and the other on the front side, and thread them through zigzag mountains facing inside alternately. When it comes to the end, weave a thread on the back side of the fabric and it's done. Next, it is a way to join together while crocheting. First, let's try the method called Zigzag Crochet Bind Off, which uses zigzag crochet. Divide the knitted fabric into the opposite side and the front side, and through 2 stitches alternately and crochet. Turn the hook to the front and crochet a zigzag chain. Turn the hook to the other side, put the hook through the zigzag mountain and crochet. Turn the hook to the front, put the needle through the zigzag mountain and crochet. Repeat this. By doing this, the last row will be sharp and thin. Finally, I will explain the method called Zigzag Slip Stitch Bind Off. Divide the fabric into the opposite side and the front side in the same way as Zigzag Crochet Bind Off. Turn the needle to the front, put the hook through the zigzag mountain on the front side, and then crochet a slip stitch. Turn the needle to the other side, put the hook through the zigzag mountain on the other side, and then crochet a slip stitch. Repeat this. Compared to the zigzag crochet bind off, this one has a flat finish. I will explain how to change the thread. It is used when you finish using the thread in the middle or when you want to change the color. When you change the thread, just before finishing the stitch, when you threw 2 loops, you change it to a new thread. Let's put the end of the thread on the back side of the fabric and weave it in with a yarn needle later. If you want to change the color at the border between rows in circular crocheting, you change the thread when you complete the last stitch of row. By doing this, you can make a pattern of horizontal stripes. You can also change the color alternately within one row. When you change the color every stitch and when you change the color every 2 stitches, the fabric looks like this. The point is to always put the floats on the back side of the fabric. If you want to change the color with more than 4 stitches apart, wrap the float, but if you wrap the thread normally, it will lose its elasticity. In order to wrap the thread while keeping its elasticity, it is necessary to devise something. First of all, when you wrap the float, you wrap it with a stitch on the back side of the fabric. For example, in the section where the front is right side and the back is wrong side, we wrap them when we crochet the stitches of the other side. On the other hand, if the front is the wrong side, it will be wrapped when the front stitch is crocheted. Since zigzag crochet is to crochet back and forth, you have to look at the right side and wrong side alternately, so please be careful about this point when crochet. First, let's look at the situation where the front is the right and the back is the wrong. When crocheting the stitch on the other side, you put a float on the hook before crocheting. The thread should be hung toward the fabric. Insert a needle into the stitch and pull out the loop. At this time, pull out the loop so as to pass under the float on the hook. When you crochet it like this, the floats will form a spiral structure. Therefore, it keeps elasticity better than wrapping it in a straight line. Let's do it in the situation where the front side is the wrong and the other side is the right. In this case, when crocheting the stitch on the front side, put on a float before crocheting. As for how to put the thread, you should put it toward the fabric as before. That is to say, in either case, it is okay if you remember to put the thread toward the fabric. That's all for the intermediate part. With the contents this time, it is possible to add fine adjustment and arrangement to the fabric. In the advanced edition, I will introduce techniques for making more complicated shapes. Look forward to it.